I'm Katie Skeen. Welcome to Plain City Elementary. Today I'm going to show you some things that will help you as you start subbing in an elementary classroom. First of all, I want to thank you for being willing to sub. Every day in our country schools, we have 274,000 substitute teachers. So you play a vital role in the education of our students. So thank you for being willing to do that. As we begin, Chris showed you in the last modules some things that will help you in a secondary classroom. Elementary classrooms may be ran a little bit different, so I'm going to give you some advice and some tips that will help you to have a successful day. To start off with, I'm going to go over some tips that will help you to have a successful day. The first and probably most important thing is to arrive early. By arriving early, this will allow you time to review the content. Now, in an elementary classroom, you will be teaching multiple things throughout the day. You will have your math, you will have your reading, some spelling, maybe social studies, science, and you need time to be able to review the content. Now, you're going to be faced maybe with some content that you don't necessarily know how to teach. Please rely on the other grade level team members to help you through this. Once you get here and students are ready to come in, please make sure you greet the students, whether that's at the outside door or the classroom door, wherever they're coming in, greet them. They like to see kind of what to expect for the day, and it gives you a chance to kind of get a feel for what the classroom may be like as those students walk in. As those students are coming in, please make sure you're prepared with some type of starter activity. This may be in the lesson plans, but it also may be something that you maybe have to come up with. It could be something as making name tags or a writing prompt. It just gives you just a little bit more time to be able to do those last minute things to take roll so that students are busy. The last thing I would for sure do in the morning is to go over expectations. Teachers may have left some expectations that they have for you, but also you are the adult in charge that day. So go over some expectations that you have so students know how to act and what is expected that day. Your lesson plans are going to look different depending on the grade level that you are subbing for. So some things to kind of look. This is a first grade lesson plan, and as you can see, it is multiple pages long. Okay, so that teacher has laid out exactly what they want done that day. Now you'll look and we have a sixth grade lesson plan. This lesson plan is not as detailed. Students are a little more self-managing. The teacher likely has prepared students, if it's a planned absent, for what that next day is going to look like. This is just going to kind of be your guide to help you get through that day. As you are looking at those lesson plans, some important things that you need to look for. The first thing will be students' medical needs. You will have students maybe that have asthma and cannot go out on poor quality days. You will have students who have allergies to certain things. You will also have students that may be diabetic. Knowing these things will help you as you go throughout your day. If those things are not listed in your lesson plans, please make sure that you contact the office. They will have all that information for you. Another important thing in an elementary classroom that you will need to know is students with individualized education plans. These will be students that will be leaving your classroom to go get instruction from other individuals in the school. So please make sure that you look on those lesson plans to see when those students are leaving, when they will be back, so that you know where your students are throughout the day. As you may know, you will be with these elementary students for 6 hours. Yes, I said 6 hours. You will leave at the end of the day probably mentally exhausted and physically exhausted. But as we look at how you go throughout your day, we are going to spend the next little bit talking about some transition time and some fillers to help you get through those, again, 6 hours. As you can see up here, you are going to be going through a variety of content areas throughout the day. How do you go from one to the next in order to help students to stay on task and have a successful day? So if we're looking at this, one of our biggest suggestions is preparation. You've prepared in the morning, you're ready, but what do you do now that students are working? With this preparation, if students are working on math, it is important that if ELA is next, be prepared. Before you stop students working on math, have all of your stuff ready to go for ELA. Have instructions wrote on the board. Have papers passed out so that students are not sitting there. When students sit, behavior problems come. So the students finish early. Now what do? These are called filler activities. These are activities to help you get through those 2 to 3, just short amount of time as we're transitioning into the next content area, or that we have just a little bit of time before lunch. Now with lunch, students will let you know when lunch is. But we need to have filler activities. Some of these filler activities will be left on the lesson plan right here. Silent read when finished. That is a filler activity that this teacher has provided. Now, if nothing is provided, have some things. Preparation is key again, right? You may do some word puzzles. You may also just do a few riddles or brain teasers. Just something to keep students busy for those few minutes, because again, when students are busy, less problems will occur. One of the best classroom management techniques that I like to use is proximity. Let me show you how this works. Works every time. No words necessary. Let's talk about wait time. This is a great classroom management technique to get students refocused. Sometimes all we have to do is just wait. Let's see how this plays out.
Guess what I did this weekend? What? I just go swimming at my grandma's.
Your grandma has a pool?
Yeah, it's awesome.
What if my grandma had a pool?
What did you do this weekend?
I rode my horse with my dad. So, you've reached the end of a successful sub day. Your last thing you need to do is leave some feedback for the teacher. Let them know some things that went well that day. Some maybe things you didn't get to, or some things students had a hard time understanding. But also leave some positive feedback. Teachers want to know kids that were behaving well, or some fun things that happened that day. This feedback will help the teacher as they come back to school and begin the next day of student learning. Thank you again for your willingness to sub. It is a vital part of our education system. If you have any questions or concerns for us, please feel free to email me at kascheme@wsd.net. Thank you.